Bro, I'm talking here. I fed you. Go eat. This cow is licking me. Well, what's up guys? This is Daniel from Arms Family Homestead, and as you can tell, it's just me today. Just got in from work, went in the house, actually went down to the greenhouse first, pulled me some spinach and made a little green juice. So today we're working on apple, carrot, spinach. And as I said, just got home from work. You can kind of tell the sun's setting behind me. Houston and Mom and Emily and everybody's in town. It's Wednesday night here for us. We got church in just a little bit, but I had to come home, do the chores and all that stuff before I get cleaned up for church. I tell you what, I told you guys, I don't know, a couple weeks ago that I kind of changed up jobs at work. Still trooper, still work for the Highway Patrol, but just switched up jobs within the Highway Patrol. And I've never, I can't say never, in the last 13 years as a trooper, I've not had a Monday through Friday, like 8 to 5 kind of job. Until now, I'm working Monday through Friday, 7 to 3. And I tell you what, I don't know how some of you do it. I don't know how you're able to get everything done that you need to do when you're not off work during the week. I liked my schedule when I had a couple days off during the week, where I had evening shifts, I could do some work in the morning. So that's why you guys haven't seen too many actual big projects lately. Because it's literally get off work, get home, try to get as much done as I can before it gets dark, and it gets dark early. But it is what it is. I'm not complaining. I love what I'm doing right now. It's kind of been a great change of pace. When you do the same thing for 13 and a half years, I'll just say I was ready for something new. And I'm having a lot of fun with what I'm doing. Still trying to keep up with the YouTube videos. Maybe we'll get into some better project stuff as the days get longer. We'll get back out there. You know what I miss? You know what I miss? Houston and I haven't got to do a catch, clean, and cook video in a long time, other than just the deer stuff. But we haven't been able to go fishing, partly because it's cold. But I'm thinking we need to do some squirrel hunting or some rabbit hunting or some small game stuff, some birds. I don't know. We need to catch, clean, and cook something. Let's just go feed the goats for now, though. What you ladies doing? Hey, Bear. Oh, buddy. No. I said the other day it didn't look like they'd been eating much hay. And it looks like it's falling over. I'm gonna have to upgrade my round bale feeder eventually. I really want to get one like Kevin over at Hidden Heights Farm, that's kind of a cradle and it keeps the goats out of it. This works pretty good, but as you can see, it's fixing to fall over pretty soon. Hey, you girls want to go out and graze for a while? What's up, buddy? Jeez, Bear, you ran him off. Watch your head, watch your head, watch your head. Come on out, girls. Goats only, no alpacas. Damn, knock me down. Look out, Rufus, you're staying in, buddy. You're staying in. I really like turning the goats out in the evenings for a couple hours just right before dark, because they don't ever wander off very far. But we've got so many acorns still on the ground that they just go out and just feast on them, fill their bellies up, and they're not having to eat grain and hay and all that. And also, letting them out like this makes it really easy to feed the alpacas separately. You may have noticed that I don't really turn the alpacas out. They're not as gentle and tame as the goats, and they eat so much slower than goats. So when I feed them all together, the goats just scarf it down. So I turn these guys out, shut the gate, and now we can feed the alpacas, and they'll have between now and dark to eat. Look at Get back, Rufus. Get back, Rufus. You can't come in here. Hey, y'all stay out there. Hang on. Here. I got some feed. Move it, move it, move it. Move it, move it, move it. Look out. Look out, look out, look out. Here you go, Rufus. Give you some. Thanks for showing the camera your backside. It's alright, Rufus. It's not like we're trying to make a video here. High quality production. Some days we have to give everybody their own feed bowl mostly because Rufus here can be a little cantankerous. He gets a little aggressive towards the ladies. They just like to eat by themselves in peaceful harmony. Rufus, hey, yours is over here, buddy. Hey, stay in your own bowl, and Tina won't spit in your face. Hey, Dolly. How are you? What's up, Dolly? Dude, every day when I come to feed, you're standing there with your butt in the gate. Why is that? Isaac, do you speak Big Macish? Poke in the butt. Hey, Gemma, you're outsized, babe. I would stay away from Big Mac if I were you. What is it, buddy? You know, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't gonna miss you when you're gone. I kinda enjoy having you around there, Big Mac. You're a good boy. Yeah. Hey, get away from my camera. Big Mac, hey, quit, bro. Like I told Rufus, we're trying to make a video here. Hey, Big Mac, this is food. That's a camera. Food, camera. You see this? This cow is licking me. Really, Big Mac? Go eat, bro. So I had a little story for you, and maybe we can tie all this together. Maybe not. Maybe it's just a random Daniel ramble. Licking me, his tongue, licking me with his tongue. So a couple weeks ago, my wife and Houston and I went to watch a movie. I don't go to the theaters very often to watch movies. This guy's worse than Bear. He wants attention. Anyways, back to the story. So we went to watch a movie, and it was Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And most of you are probably familiar with Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. His TV show, Fred Rogers' TV show, was on PBS, on TV for, I think, 43 years. I don't know if we're going to get through this story or not. But when I was a kid, Mr. Rogers was on TV every day. Anyone in America should know who Mr. Rogers is. And when I was a little small kid, little bitty kid, you know, I thought Mr. Rogers was like the coolest thing ever. And then went through this phase, you know, probably along with 99% of the rest of the population of the United States. As you get into, you know, cooler kid ages, you know, when you're getting like 11, 12 up into your teenage years, Mr. Rogers was not cool. Mr. Rogers was not a cool guy at all in our mind. He was just kind of a lame kid's show. But after going and watching the movie, it really got me to thinking about Mr. Rogers and who Mr. Rogers was, and his passion for life, his goals in life, and what his story was really about. So then I come back home and I start watching all these different YouTube videos about Mr. Rogers and all these different interviews. And bro, I'm talking here. I fed you. Go eat. So I'm watching all this stuff about Mr. Rogers, and it just kind of clicks to me. Mr. Rogers he had a true passion for kids and a true passion for people and to see other people happy. It was like his goal in life was to talk straight into a lens to one person. For him, it was one child, and he wanted to speak directly into their heart. Really, Big Mac? Quit licking me. But I guess I kind of missed that as a kid. All I knew was Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood was just a kid's show, and they had puppets and all of that. But Mr. Rogers was like the first person to really open himself up to the world in that kind of way. Mr. Rogers was a very low budget production show. I mean, the guy had puppets who sometimes their mouth didn't even really move, and he's sitting there just talking. He was not a ventriloquist, but had puppets and played games. But the thing about Mr. Rogers was he was not afraid to talk about the things that needed to be talked about. He was speaking directly to kids most of the time, but he talked about things like race and racial problems. I mean, in the late 1960s, he had a black police officer come on the show, and they shared a little foot bath together. And in the 60s, that was just something that didn't happen. But Mr. Rogers talked about things like divorce. He talked about murder. He talked about like racial problems, inequality, all the different things in such a way that he spoke to everyone's heart. But he said so many times in so many different interviews, when he shoots a show, he's talking directly to one kid. And I don't feel like, well, I don't want to compare myself to Mr. Rogers. I am nowhere near Mr. Rogers' level, but I kind of feel like my life has like evolved into this a little bit of a Mr. Rogers type world. My goal is to sit down and share a video. Yeah, we're out here feeding the animals, but I kind of go off on these tangents sometime in these random rants. I'm afraid this cow's fixing to walk up behind me and knock me down. I go on these little tangents and rants and all that stuff, but I'm not afraid to talk about what needs to be talked about and to say the things that need to be said. And I just hope that someday I can be on that kind of level as Mr. Rogers. But I got a card in the mail the other day, and it was a Christmas card from a subscriber, and it was a lady that had reached out to me, gosh, I don't know, like maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, and had some family issues, and her husband wasn't going to church, her husband wasn't saved, and all that stuff. And she said just from watching my channel, it kind of drew her closer to her faith. And then before she knew it, her husband started coming around, and he was going to church, and her husband has since got saved, and it's changed their family dynamic. It's changed who they are as a couple. And she just wrote me this long Christmas card. I'm not going to give any names or show you the card or anything like that, but it was just so heartfelt and inspiring for me to think that I never intended any video that I ever made to like really reach somebody like that. I mean, I just share my faith, share my feelings, and share what I'm doing as I do it. But it kind of got me thinking. There's a story in the Bible in John, and I'm not going to quote it exactly, but basically when Jesus was on the earth and as he was preaching and teaching and traveling about and sharing who he was with people, you had the Pharisees and the religious leaders who didn't agree with Jesus and the things he was preaching. So they were constantly trying to trip him up and coming up with asking him all these different questions about the laws and the rules and how things worked and all that, and they're always stuck on the commandments and the rules and the Old Testament law. And one day, and here's my interpretation, I kind of feel like Jesus had enough of it. And they said, Jesus, what's the most important law? And what's the most important commandment? And he says, to love people. Love one another as I've loved you. That's the most important commandment. And I think what Jesus was trying to say was, if you just go out there and you genuinely love one another, if you love other people and you care for them the way you care for yourself and the way you feel and your feelings and the things you want, it's only gonna help you follow all the other rules and all the other commandments. And I 100% believe that's what Mr. Rogers was doing. That's who Mr. Rogers was. And that's not who I am. I'm not trying to compare myself to Mr. Rogers. As I said, I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not near Mr. Rogers' level. But I feel like all of us have so much that we can learn from Mr. Rogers. If you haven't gone to the movies and seen that film, I know not all of you are going to be able to go to the movies and see the film. When it comes out on DVD, you have to watch this movie. It's one of the most heartfelt, inspiring, touching movies that I've seen in so long. And it's not a religious movie. It's not a Christian movie. It has nothing to do with Christ and all of that. But just from me watching it and my observation and me trying to be like Mr. Rogers, because Mr. Rogers had such a kind heart for people that was true and genuine, and everyone knew it. Everyone knew Mr. Rogers had everyone else's best interest in mind. And I think Mr. Rogers was a true reflection of Christ and who Christ was and who Christ wants us to be. We're here to love other people, to serve other people. Such a cool message. I don't know. I just kind of wanted to share that with you guys today. Go watch Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Pull up some of the old episodes on YouTube. Yeah, they're a little corny, but there are some incredible messages there. I think our kids need to be watching stuff like that nowadays. Our kids now that are watching Ryan's Toy Review and Mr. Beast and all these things, nothing wrong. I'm not saying those are bad, but things like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Mr. Rogers was a guy that wasn't afraid to say the things that needed to be said in a kind, loving way and approach those things in a way that no one else did. He didn't do it like Fox News or NBC News or some random... What's going on behind me, Isaac? Some random news station. I don't know. Maybe I'm losing my point here, but go watch Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. It'll make you a better person. Even if you're not a Christian, go watch it. Hey buddy, that's my bucket. You can't have it. I'm taking it back to the barn with me. Bro, what? You want to go? You like headbutting the bucket? Hey Lambert, back up. Back up. Hey Lucy. What's up, little girl? Out of all the alpacas that we have, Lucy here is obviously the most skittish. And I would have thought after her being pinned up with Lambert, who's a bottle baby, who loves people and wants to be next to you all the time, would have thought she'd have tamed down just a little bit more by now. But you guys know Houston gets out here and plays with her, and he catches her and pets her and loves on her and all that stuff. She's curious. She's just a little bit shy still. But she's doing really well after pulling her off of her mom, old Tina over there. And Tina has actually put on a lot of weight. When we pulled Lucy off, you could kind of see Tina's backbone, just because she was kind of a big baby to still be nursing. And I think it's doing really, really well for Tina to have Lucy separated. I'm not ready to move her back yet. I'm afraid she would start nursing again. So we'll leave them separated for a few more weeks. Well, and there's this guy. Old Rufus is always concerned when I let the goats out. He just does not understand why they leave. He's like, hey, where'd my goats go? Rufus, hey buddy, what's the matter? Well, as you can tell, I'm losing daylight fast. It's starting to get dark out here. The sun is just going down, setting on the other side of the hill over there. So I'm gonna wrap this video up. I know I probably rambled on way too long, but I enjoy those kind of videos where it's just a random rant and ramble. I enjoy making those kind of videos, and I get a lot of really good feedback from people who say they enjoy it too. And I'm not sure about Bear. He doesn't seem to like those kind of videos that much. But I think old Big Mac does, because he pestered me the whole way through it. What is it, buddy? Where's Houston at? We need Houston here to love on you. Anywho, so if you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comment section down below. If you've gone to see Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, let me know what you thought about it. Guys, I think it's one of the best films that's come out in a long time. It's got an incredible story, incredible message about a person who made a huge impact on this world and will be remembered for many, 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 many decades. But anyways, guys, that's all I've got for today. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Y'all have a great day. And as always, we'll see you on the next video.